if someone has started on time the course, most of you haven't. I know I have enrolled you guys. So you should be focusing on this approach, whereas you think that's we cannot follow this complete planner. So the thing is that try to do or try to attempt more papers. In fact, you can particularly go on theory classes. These are the shorter classes. You can just take it and see what exactly can be tested, right? You can just take it and see what exactly can be tested, and after that, obviously, you can do these papers, right? But again, if there's some recent questions being available, I'll be really motivating each and everyone to particularly attempt these papers, right? So this was it. Now, this is the advanced information September 23, right? That was given by ACCA. I have done an analysis of that as well. I took one class at that time in this attempt, right? I took one class in this September 23 attempt. So what you can do is you can take that class so that you get an idea, right? That how exactly this pre-scene has been given. I'll be sharing the link in the group as well. And then we have to attempt the questions, the real questions that examiner has asked, right? So if anyone haven't seen that class, I'll be just requesting to please go and see that class, right? If someone haven't seen that class, I'll be requesting that please go and see that class. But if someone has taken this class, they can obviously see the question, read the questions with me, discuss with me and all that, right? And most of the students from if I see the names, they are previously enrolled and have attempted many of the papers. So you guys have an edge. You know how to draft, you know how to write, and we'll be just attempting this question, right? Now, give me just 2 minutes. Let me bring the questions here because I have read the pre-scene and I've shared the class with you. So let me bring the question here, and then we can attempt, or we can read and make the pointers. I'll be taking 3-4 classes and we'll be solving this complete paper. So this is the question, Corjetz, and this is how the exam would look like. And these are the main exhibits that have been given to you, and the pre-scene as well. See, this is the pre-scene that they released previously. This will be given in the exam. But if someone thinks we can particularly read this pre-scene here, so it's totally a waste of time. See, this was released before the 15 days. So if you're reading it now, so it's not good, nights. It's really bad. You should have read it earlier, the day I took the class on this pre-scene also. And apart from that, you should have made your notes here as well. Like on pre-scene, you should have an idea that what are the questions you can be given. Like in the pre-scene, the 60% of the questions are the guess of any teacher. They can easily predict like what exactly can be tested here, right? So this is the fact that this is pre-scene information, but we have read it earlier. I've shared the link with you. You have the analysis as well, so you can obviously have an idea that what to look at. Now, task 1. First, it's the key thing for SBL that you should be having the questions first in your mind so that you can read accordingly and you can think the points accordingly. If you haven't have the questions in mind, it's no benefit, right? It's not at all a benefit to be having. So Corjetz CEO recently gave an interview to leading call and business magazine. The CPO, now Chief People Officer, the HR one, is about to chair a staff representative committee meetings and thinks it would be useful to communicate some of the key points of CEO's interview staff at this meeting. She asked for your help in preparing this meeting. So prepare briefing notes. Now, the one thing that the format is briefing notes for the CPO, your audience is CPO, right? Audience, which outlines the problems in culture caused by previous leadership. So there has been a sudden cultural change. Again, guys, if you haven't read the pre-scene, go and take this, right? Because you must have an idea there were some cultural issues going on. So caused by previous leadership style and the impact that current CEO's leadership style has had on Corjetz culture. So the current CEO has neglected, right? The current CEO has neglected or has deviated from the previous leadership style. So the thing is that there were some problems in the previous leadership style and current culture has accommodated that. And here is commercial acumen. Now, Would you believe that before reading the requirement, we can have an idea that what skill they are going to test? Now, see, this is the commercial thing, right? How and culture is a commercial thing. It's an internal source. So you must have an idea that culture can impact particularly the business of the entity. Like if there are bad culture going on, the employees wouldn't be that much motivated. They wouldn't be performing accordingly. But if there's a good culture going on, the employees will be motivated and they can particularly take things on, right? They can particularly take things on. So yeah, commercial acumen is in here. Now you have to give the commercialized judgment as well. Like the change in the culture, and if you can link it with the numbers or some key achievements that have been done with the change in culture, that would be the brainstormer for you, huh? That would be the great thing for you. And why is that? The thing is that the change in the culture have resulted in these commercial successes that Corjetz have gone or have achieved. Now, this is how the tone of the answer should be, right? This is how the tone of the answer should be. And whereas the other requirement is that CPO believes that many of the Corjetz staff are unaware of the role and importance of NEDs. She has asked for your help in preparing the presentations for her meeting staff. Prepare 2 slides. Slide is an easy thing to attempt. If you have seen the previous classes, you must have an idea that slide is very, very easy to attempt, right? Meeting with the staff representative committee, and what you have to do, key roles of NEDs. Guys, this is totally a theory. We know the NEDs roles. What are the roles? Can you tell me? Like challenging EDs. This is one of the key role, right? So that EDs doesn't do the favorable decisions that are based on that, right? Scrutinizing the performance of EDs, right? Giving the multi-personal exposure. You know that, now that NED should be of other industry, so they can give you the exposure of the other industry. Guys, please contribute now. Please contribute in your answer. Like this is a great 6 marks, right? I believe. Why? Because you have to write the key roles of Corjetz NEDs. Now, Corjetz is an airline business and they have some NEDs. So what can be the key role? Huh? If you can participate in the chat box and tell me, like, one key role of NEDs to scrutinizing the performance of EDs. Like EDs are going in well. Any other roles that you want, you can write here. Yeah, expertise of the areas. Like NED is from particularly other industries. So if there isn't any other service industry, they could give their experience to Corjetz and then they can perform well. Similarly, appointment of the BOD, right? EDs are appointments. Zishan, the best answer of this particular requirement would be, that participating in the recruitment committee, right? So that they can appoint EDs or they can set the benchmarks of EDs. So guys, we haven't even read the case. We just have seen the pre-seen classes and we are drafting some of the points, or we are just thinking some of the points. The first class is of the thinking of the points, right? The first class is of thinking of the points. So appointment of BOD, right? Now, communication with shareholders, which enhances the confidence. Like Rajesh has given some good point, but the best point would be like participant in the AGM. There are NEDs being participates. Because I belong to a corporate background in my company, I remember when there was an AGM, our NED, he's one of the most famous personality in Pakistan. He used to come in the AGM and answer the questions because there was a great fan following of that. So communication gets stronger. So guys, if we have 12 marks, we believe that 16 marks from 6 marks from this requirement, and if there's 6 marks from this requirement, so what would be the pointers? Challenging EDs, right? Scrutinizing the performance of EDs, appointment of the board, setting the benchmarks for EDs, giving the industry exposure, the other industry exposure, communication strengthening with EDs, with shareholders, and shareholders' confidence gets higher. Think of it that if you are particularly an investor, and you know that here that particular person is the NED which you like or which you believe is a good NED. So that means if you believe that, you'll be investing, because NEDs it gives you that there is someone who is looking on ED, right? Guys, we haven't read the case yet, huh? We haven't read the case yet, but yet we are thinking of the points that we can write. This is what the beauty of SBL is, that you don't know the case and still you have some points that you can write on it. Still you have some points that you can write on it. Now, on writing, we'll go later. That's how many points we need to write. But again, we have some points that we can be going on it and assess the importance of having a diverse board. Now, one thing that usually people are confusing in diversity. Whenever, if you see my theoretical classes, I've guided there as well. But in this live class, I'll be guiding this as well. That if you particularly see diversity, the student thinks that diversity means getting a female on board. This is diversity, yeah? Am I correct? Like getting a female on the board of 7 male versus 1 female. So that's diversity. So do we be writing that diversity means having females on the board and then there's an equal participation from that? Guys, this is gender diversity. Now, diverse board is something else, right? Diverse board, it's something else. It's not about getting a female on the board. That's gender diversity. Diverse board means you must have a board of different age group. That's your diverse board. You must have particularly entity of different experience, different board of different industries, right? You must have a board that of different thought, particularly things like they have a different direction of thinking. Now, let me give you an example of my corporate experience. Our CFO was very, very close to the owners, right? Like he was the favorite of the owners, right? But yet owner bought up one of the Pakistan's leading tax commissioner he was a retired tax practitioner. He came on the board yet to challenge the CFO and his team. The thing is, the owner's favorite was the CFO that was leading the company, but yet an other greatest personality here known came onto the board as NED because owner knows that CFO has a high power, right? But they know that this is my money, this is my company, so I should be having a particular entity of any of the practice that could challenge the one that I like, right? That could challenge the one that I like. So this is how now he can manipulate, neither he can manipulate things and he is here to challenge the facts, right? So, and obviously he was from the tax background, so he can give you some tax advices as well. Like he can give you some tax advices as well that how you can do this or how you can account for this. Because in our company, I remember there was significant acquisition that was too aggressive. I was always making the feasibility analysis of that acquisition, that merger, this, that, this is how things goes. So my aim was particularly to do these analysis. So there, just for the owner perspective, if you see, if there's a diverse board, there's a huge investment on the back so that they can make. Any of the points, like let me go on to the chat box. What they have given. Oh, yeah. One of the students, Mohsin, has said that maybe different age groups with different experience. Yeah. That's your diverse board. But why its importance? This is how you need to explain. And here comes communication, guys. If you have seen the previous classes, I remember, if you have seen the previous classes, I remember that I have told you multiple times, like in the presentation slides, right? In the presentation slides, you have been given the communication skills and you have to write very less because in the slides you make, you'll give the key pointers that will give you the marks and you will write the notes that will give you the marks. So you have to just write 5 key pointers in the slides here and 5 on the other slides, and you have to write 2 to 3 paragraphs explaining those key pointers, and that's it. You straight get 12, 10, 11 marks. But importance of the diverse board is they can now think of the points like what diverse board. Now students, what misinterpret here is the gender diversity. That's wrong. There should be the diversity of the genders, but here in the question, the importance of diverse board means that you can evaluate any of the investments or any of the proposals through a good diverse background rather than those backgrounds, those who have just this industry's experience. You can particularly go and have an idea of the diverse backgrounds, right? Similarly, the other importance would be that the diverse board could give you an idea what's going on in the other industries. So you can do that, right? Like if there's one person who have an experience of the hospitality sector, like for example, if you have traveled, this is an airline particularly business. Recently, I've traveled from the airline. So every airline has an particularly their loyalty programs. Now this was sometimes our first airline's idea, and then it goes there now. So the diverse board could give you these ideas, right? Any other importance you would to highlight of the diverse board? Huh? I have given the investment valuation, right? So, Rajesh, you have given particularly a generic answer. In SBL, there's no generic answers, right? You have to be specific with the industry, with the company. Confidence of the, importance of the diverse board is it leads to the confidence of the investors, right? It gives you a huge opportunity. Like whenever investor is going to come, they'll see the board. Oh, these people are on the board. We can invest here. They cannot manipulate us. They're really good with it. Huh? They're really, really good with it. So, importance of both, good evaluation of the investments, good confidence for the shareholders. Any other points if you want, you can add here. Similarly, diverse board could give you idea what's happening in the different industries, right? They could give you idea of new projects as well. This is how the diverse boards work, right? And guys, just to highlight you, you are giving some points without reading these exhibits. This is the beauty thing, right? So you know what you have to write, but now you have to connect this with this exhibits. Like there's an investment proposal, huh? So NED could evaluate that now. NED could help you in questioning that. You have to link with these exhibits, and you have to link with this pre-scene. So guys, till now, we have requirements that we have read. What's that? That's you have to outline the problems in the culture and impact of the current CEO's leadership style. Then you have to make 2 slides. Let me take questions if there are. Yeah, so NED can get you updated. Yeah, that's also a good point. The importance is that NED keeps you updated with the industry, right? What exactly is going in industry? They can keep you updated with that, huh? Right? So perfect. And now these are the exhibits, guys. Now I give you time, right? Till tomorrow, read these exhibits like 1, similarly 2, this, read these exhibits, 3. Now focus totally on this, right? Focus totally on this, 3 and 4. And you are not going to have the drafting. You're not going to make the drafting as well, right? So see, they have given you the performance report as well. Huh? This is really great. Huh? They have given you the performance report as well. So what you have to do, you have to particularly read those exhibits and have to make points for this requirement, right? So where are the other requirements? So see, if you particularly go on to the next phase, just a second. Yeah. So next phase, here comes the other requirement, task 2. We'll be reading it later. We'll have multiple classes for this particular And then we have task 3 as well. So the thing is, the first aim of our this week's session is to do the task 1 completely. And so far, we have just read the requirements. So now I give you a particular assignment, like focus on this particular thing, like read 1 exhibit, 2 exhibit, 3 exhibit. If 1 and 2 would be all for particularly the first requirement, and try to jot down some points for this exhibit and for this exhibit, and that's it. And for this requirement, and that's it. In the tomorrows, I'll be drafting my answer so that you can see it accordingly, that what to be done, so that you can see it accordingly, that whether you have done it right or not, right? Guys, one thing that I need to highlight is that, see, one thing to get this paper pass is practice. If you can attempt this paper completely, you can send it to me for marking. If you want to see my answer, you have to wait till tomorrow. I'll be solving this complete requirement. Then again, we'll give you the assignment of the second requirement, and then I'll be solving. Then again, you have to give to the time to the third requirement, and then I'll be solving. Okay. So this is how things will go, huh? So till tomorrow, what you have to do, you have to attempt these 2 exhibits you have to read, and you have to make pointers of this requirement and share it with me. And then tomorrow's class, I'll be drafting it completely and will share my answer in the live class. Obviously, you can add on your points as well, right? Obviously, you can add on your points as well. Yeah. One student has highlighted an important factor, that's so the task 1 belongs to these 2 exhibits. How you realize? See, if you have seen the previous classes, you'll see that the first requirement is from first, second exhibit. The second requirement is from third exhibit. Now, see, here's the risk review, right? We haven't got any idea of the risk here. Let's go on to the other requirement as well and see and read. So AI and feasibility of invest in AI flight simulation. So I believe that this particular requirement is from this exhibit. Like there's an investment proposal. There are also suitability, acceptability, and feasibility. SFA framework is being tested, the easiest framework, right? And similarly, risk manager, dynamic nature of the principal risk. So again, you know that this particular requirement is from this exhibit. So most of the times you'll be getting the requirements from the particular exhibits, but again, quotation or making a quote from the other exhibit is always considered the best thing. Yeah, it's good. So you can link it with that, and as well as you have to link now with the pre-scene, right? Once you jot down some points of the task 1, I'll be sharing my answer, or I'll be drafting here so that you see that what else you can make and what else I have skipped. Like you guys can also make your own good points and then have to share with me so that I can guide that, yeah, this particular point I haven't written, but this is right. Right, guys? So till tomorrow, you have to share particularly the pointers, not the drafted version, right? The pointers of task 1, and then I'll be drafting this particularly with you. If someone wants to attend the task 1 completely by themselves, they can obviously solve and send it to me. Okay? So that's all for today. Tomorrow on the same time, we'll be reading the exhibit and we'll be drafting the answer accordingly. Let's just begin. In the last class, we just read the requirements, and I've got a couple of responses on which I have marked as well. But I wanted us to draft it in front of everyone, and we can add on certain points here as well. And this is the aim of the sessions that we are having before the pre-scene, so that we exactly knew that how to draft. And once we have got the pre-scene, so our entire focus will be there, right? Our total and entire focus will be there. In fact, I've got some responses as well to this. So we'll be discussing those as well. And yeah, I'll be drafting it again. So the A part was of 12 marks, and there was a commercial acumen here as well, right? So skill is commercial acumen, and marks is 12, and 4 professional as well. So that means you have a total marks of 16, right? So for 16 marks, ideally you have to make around 8 points, right? I've told you one good point can give you 2 marks, but since we are not sure that we will be making good marks or not, or we will be making good points or not, so we'll be trying to make more and more points rather than just sticking to this rule that we have to make 8 good points. We are going to focus on particularly to make more points till we can. And since the paper is now typing based, so we shouldn't be worried regarding
That's what we should be doing. It's totally an easy thing. If it's typing, you can type it accordingly. So the thing is that prepare briefing notes for CPO, which outlines the problems in the culture caused by previous leadership style and impact the current CEO's leadership style has had on Corjett's culture. So whenever we heard the name culture, right? Whenever we heard the name culture, we see the cultural web, right? We see cultural web. So many of the students, those sent me the script, applied cultural web. So, sir, is it wrong or right? See, in SBL, there is nothing wrong, nothing right. You can apply cultural web or you can draft it accordingly. It's totally up to you. You can apply cultural web or you can draft it accordingly. It's totally up to you. You do not have to go here and there or think of it that whether I've done or not. You have to stick to the requirement. If your cultural web has covered the problems that caused by the previous leadership, and if they have covered the impact of the new CEOs, it's fine. And yes, there shall be a taste of commercial acumen. That means in the impact of new leadership, you'll be giving some commercialized comments as well. That's how exactly how exactly the change in the leadership have impacted this, right? There can be certain points from the pre-scene as well that was analyzed by me previously, so you can have an idea about introduction here, and we have covered that, right? I've shared particularly this with everyone in the group and in the students that I have. So this was airline types by business models, and then our hub and what's all that. So we have covered that, right? We have covered that. Yeah, but somehow we have to link this pre-scene as well. Huh? We have to link sometimes this pre-scene as well. If you can see that Corjetz overview, it was established 20 years by the entrepreneurial brothers, right? So it was established by the brothers. Again, the two people, they both worked for many years in the airline industry. And I'm assuming that you have read this pre-scene. Again, if you haven't read this, you can go and take the class, right? With money inherited from their parents, they started operating flights from near city airport, locating 40 miles from Collins capital city, using their knowledge and experience, spotted a gap in the market of the low cost air travel. So they were giving the low cost air travel, right? Up to that point, Collins airline industry was dominated by full service carriers. The low cost business model in the Collins airline industry proved extremely popular with air passengers who liked the convenience of Corjet's point to point service. Over the years, Corjetz has focused from airport across Hungary with their customer demands and continuously looking for opportunities. So, in an airline, you need to have more destinations so that you can cater more customers, right? Any particular thing? Yeah, ownership. This could be a valid connection with the culture. So I'm looking for the words culture if there's in pre-scene, and you must have looked before the exam, right? So 9 years ago, the brothers originally retained 35% shares. They sold their shareholdings in Corjetz and they're no longer play any role in running the business. Currently, 80% of shares are held by investors, 10% held by Corjet's employees, and remaining shares are held by private investors. So Magda Fisk is the current CEO of Corjetz and has been placed for the 10 years. She was instrumental in achieving Corjet's listing. So the new CEO have got the Corjet's listed, right? The new CEO have got the Corjet's listed. Then 11,800 staff, 2,000 pilots, 6,500 cabin crew. Okay, regular updates are provided to employees and all that. So this doesn't care of the culture. So I guess there's nothing more here on the culture. So we can close it and we can read this. Now, business magazine and business magazine article. So interview with Magda Fisk. Taking over from Eric Madsen as CEO, Corjetz was never going to be easy for Magda. Although the brothers had built strong foundation of the success of Corjetz, their entrepreneurial spirit and drive could not maintain their early success in customers and staff satisfaction. So see, here is the comment on culture that strong foundations, their entrepreneurial spirit and drive could not maintain their early success in customer and staff satisfaction. That means the prior leadership doesn't focuses on the customers or the staff satisfaction, right? Customer complaints and staff turnover were at their highest levels 10 years ago. So that means before Magda, the staff turnover were high, the customer complaints were high. So these were the problems of the previous culture they have given you here. And now the requirement, keep the requirement in mind. What was the requirement? What was the requirement? The requirement was that which outlines the problems in culture caused by previous leadership. So these were the problems. Customer were not happy. Similarly, staff were not happy. Magda has led Corjetz through a successful stock market listing. Yeah, so Magda has stock market listing and customer satisfaction ratings hit the highest level. Now, what were your priorities when you took your role? So I guess this particular exhibit is totally for culture because they are asking Magda regarding the previous problems, regarding their aim. So this particular exhibit is the target to be done with this requirement. But yeah, you have to connect with pre-scene as well. One of the student has said, sir, that if you can go on that pre-scene, they're certain about the comment, so we can go there. Now, 10 years ago, Corjetz was hierarchical and no connection between senior leaders and staff. I wanted staff to have autonomy to make decisions, which they were experts in. So particularly in customer relationship management, we weren't making adequate use of knowledge and talent that existed in the business, nor we focusing on attracting, retaining high quality staff. So see, 10 years ago, there were certain problems. Like we weren't giving them autonomy. That means you have the hire or qualified staff, but you are not giving them autonomy. That means that now you are not asking them to do or take particular decisions by yourself. So now this is an issue. Similarly, there was an issue of retaining high quality staff. We weren't retaining there. We might be paying low or low benefits or prerequisites. So our customer service approach had failed to change with the rapidly environment, and we had to trust staffs to lead us on how to manage the relationships. So what Magda did, they prioritized staff. They give the autonomy to the staff. Now, these are the points post Magda you can comment on. That before, these were the problems, but now these are the solutions. Now, we have to set up staff representative committees where staff are actively encouraged. So yeah, they have that committee as well. Before that, there was no committee, but now you have the committee. Okay, so we have got some good points, right? Committee, autonomy to the staff, trainings, we can say, or we can say the interactive initiatives with the staff. These are the things, retention of the staff. You can comment on that these were the adjustments that Magda did. I believe that empowered and engaged staff are the driver of customer service. I'm proud that as an organization, we encourage open and honest dialogue between staff and leaders. Corjetz has dynamic culture, which embraces change and innovation. We even ask cabin crew to redesign their own uniforms. Oh, that means the cabin crew can redesign their own uniform in every 4 years. That means you're giving them power, right? You are giving them an authority to do that. So we hold the competition, and the most popular design is selected and professionally created. It's very popular with staff, fiercely competitive. Then why is the board so important to Corjetz? Our entities play a vital role. Now this particular seems to be 1B. Yeah, I believe this is particularly, that's 1B, diversity and all that. This is the requirement, or this is the question of 1B. So guys, now students ask a lot that, sir, till here we have got some points, so what we should do? See, if you have got some point, why going on next exhibits? I don't know. Why you have to go on the next exhibit? Once you have got the points, try and write that. Like 4 or 5 points are in front of me, so why I shouldn't be writing that and then go on to the other exhibits? And if I am able to write, so that means you can get some good marks. Did you guys got my point? Page 9 of the pre-scene, one of the student has said that under people, we have some information which may be useful in this answer, improve customer satisfaction. So go on the pre-scene again, page 9, and see if there is any data. It's the board structure and risk management and key risks. So this 8, yeah, what she has said. Page 9, improve customer satisfaction under people, yeah. So the remaining staff, IT, finance, and all the regular updates are provided. All Corjetz employees undergo a full induction program. All employees receive a regular and scheduled managerial Appraisals. Yeah, you can connect with that as well. You can connect with that as well. So let's write like it's 1A. Since I've got a good points, I'll be drafting it. I won't be focusing on the other requirements. Huh? I wouldn't be focusing on the other requirements. I need to draft it accordingly. Okay. So 1A, it's briefing notes. Now you can compare your answers as well. That what I am saying. FAO, briefing notes format is this: for attention of a chief people officer, right? Sometimes the software glitches, so apologies for that. Huh? Let me make it big. Yeah. So chief people officer. So now either I have to apply the cultural web or I have to go on to the general web. See, the questions that I've solved with the cultural web is a nearby question, right? You can go on the LMS and see the nearby answer. I have applied the cultural web there. So this question I'll be solving without the cultural web. So you get in both idea that how nearby was attempted and how is this attempted, right? So the impact, impact of leadership style in Corjetz culture, right? Yeah, guys. So previously, what I have to do, I have to criticize. So problems of previous leadership style. And guys, commercial acumen, you must be making sure that you are sounding like a commercial finance person, right? So the problems, what were the problems? If I see the first problem that I read here was entrepreneurial step, right? And they were not focusing on staff satisfaction as well as customer retention, right? So they weren't, or customer complaints, they weren't focusing on that, right? I would be requesting each and everyone to please close off your cameras. Some of the student has opened. Uh, yeah, one of the student has said this in this point, we haven't found the all points of cultural web. If you see the cultural web, there is stories, rituals and routines, leadership style. So yeah, since you know that you haven't got all the points, so you should be attempting in a general manner rather than applying a model. And one more thing, the examiner doesn't tell you to apply complete cultural web. Yeah, if you think that you have got the stories, if you think you have got the symbols, if you think you have got the routines, just apply these 3 paragraphs. Why you are going to go and apply full? Yeah, you can pick and mix. This is not a jail that you have to follow that particular instruction. You can take 3 paragraphs from that, and 1 or 2 headings can be your self-made. This is the thing, right? This is the thing. This is the beauty of this paper. So this one, that entrepreneurial spirit, right? That haven't been focused on the customers and the staff. So I'm going to make this particularly the point of the background and the problems. So yeah, let's go on to here. So problems of previous leadership style. Now I would be writing that Corjetz culture had been previously dominated by existing owners, or previously dominated by previous leaders, following the trend named as entrepreneurial. I might be doing some spelling errors, so kindly ignore that, right? And you haven't have to do the spelling errors, right? Entrepreneurial spirit, right? Spirit. Corjetz's culture had been previously dominated by previous leaders following the trend named as entrepreneurial spirit, in which customer complaints, and staff turnover was not that much focused, right? Was not that much focused uh, by by the rule makers in such trend, the ultimate things are to be followed, which are set by the owners, and changes required by the market are not being considered by them, right? By owners. For the short term, the results might not get impacted. Now see the commercial aspect now. Now see the commercial aspect. For the short term, the results might not get impacted, but in longer term, it deteriorates the results as well as reputation of the airline, right? So a good para of the problems of previous leadership style, right? Any comments that you would be making? Because I believe I can add one more para that previous owners seems to be the follower of McGregor theory X and theory Y. If you remember, right? They were not focusing on the staff. They were not focusing on the demand of the student. They were setting each and every one. So I can make a para of that as well. Huh? I can make a para of that as well. So previous owners, I'll be saying the CEO rather than saying the owner, seems to be following theory X leadership style. See, now I'm not commenting on the cultural web. I'm commenting another leadership style here, right? Which prefers to be dominant in every aspect and thinks that others do not or others cannot add value by their suggestions, right? So one more point on that. Anything if you guys want me to add, so I can make a point on here, or you think that you have added data? You can say the current world as well. Huh? In current world, or in current industry requirements, people tends to give ideas that are best for business, and neglecting them would create demotivation among staff, which is evident. Now, how I'm going to connect, see, huh? Which is evident how I'm going to connect. See here, please. Highest levels, right? Staff turnover at highest levels. So I can say this as Corjetz staff turnover was at highest level in previous 10 years. Apologies. Yeah, so two good paragraphs. Now, you criticize the previous leadership style, right? Now, if some students say that, sir, I think the previous leadership style was not wrong, it was right. If it was not wrong, na, so see, they wouldn't have said that there was the staff turnover high, there were the customer complaints. So they also wanted you to criticize the previous leadership style. Now, the one who is not understanding this or who is not following a criticizing tone, they'll be getting failed here. Because in SBL, you can write on your own, but in this scenario, I don't think so. In this scenario, I don't think so that you can particularly focus or you can particularly write something positive about the previous leadership because they want you to criticize the previous leadership, right? Theory X, one of the student has asked the theory X. See, there are two theories, McGregor theory X and theory Y. Theory X manager thinks that he knows each and everything. The leaders think that he is the one who can do particular market and who can do an autonomous approach. He's the autocratic kind of a person, right? Whereas theory Y thinks that my staff is good, they can decide on your own. Theory Y gives the autonomy. This is particularly part of our syllabus. And if you are not commenting on it, there's no problem. You can add on your own point, guys. No problem at all. Yeah, you can comment on the top-down management or bottom-up management as well. You can do that. And since the papers of drafting, so that's clear, right? Yeah. So now leadership style change. Yeah, leadership style, right? So let's do leadership style. Let's do the comment on it and see what we can write here, right? Now, previously, leadership seems to be autocratic, whereas post Magda, try to write the full names, right? Rather than writing Magda, the name was Magda Fisk. Yeah. So Magda Fisk, the leadership seems to be more democratic. Now, how the democratic leadership has been achieved now? You can say here about it enables or Magda Fisk enables staff contribution, right? Magda Fisk enables staff contribution and suggestions, right? And gives them a priority, such as asking the cabin crew to perform or to design uniforms after every 4 years. Such gestures not only motivate staff, but also create a perception in staff's mind that they are being valued, right? So these perceptions gives in the mind or if you are being asked to design the uniform, that means you are being given the value. This is what Magda has done, right? This is what Magda has done. So Magda seems to be a transformational, right? Transformational leader throughout Corjetz's journey, as she is totally opposite by previous, totally opposite from the previous owners, and gives Corjet's culture a new direction and trying to achieve high level of customer experience, right? It's trying to achieve high level of customer experience, right? She seems to be delegating powers, right? Where it is appropriate, just like giving uh, uniforms or getting uniforms being designed by that. Huh? So see, 4 paragraphs we have made. I'm not saying that you'll be getting full marks or two marks of each paragraph, but again, we can particularly say that, yeah, we have commented on that. Now see what we can write more. Let's see this. The requirements, yeah, requirements were, and in the impact that the current CEO's leadership style has had on Corjetz culture. So now I'll be making impact as well, like what impacts they have been done. So if we can point down that, and then we'll be drafting it. But so far, we have outlined the problems of the previous leadership style, and now we have to comment on the impact, that what impact they have been done, right? So in the impact, we can see they have some committees up, right? They have given uniform power, right? And empower engaged staffs, driver of customer service. So customer service has been great, right? Innovation has been preferred. So these are all the impacts of the Magda, right? They have been created to redesign, and it's very popular with the staff and competitive as well. So staff is particularly engaging. So engagement is also motivation of the staff is a separate thing, and engagement or getting the staff engaged, it's also a separate thing, right? And through this, the staff retention could take place as well. Yeah, one of the students has told me that, sir, if staff is participating, so that means staff retention would be good. So try writing that now. Now we are on the first exhibit, and we have got so many points, guys. This is what SBL is. Impact of Magda is leadership style on Corjetz. Some of you might be thinking that how this guy is thinking so much. So it's totally an easy task. Once you have drafted 3-4 papers, you'll be doing the same, guys. Don't worry. Right? So prior to Magda's appointment, staff seems to be less connected with the top management, right? With the top management, Magda has introduced a participatory approach for all the staff, right? This suggests that staffs can contribute, right? And they are also prioritized by management. And at some point, now this is my point, right? At some point, this is mandatory because staff has more exposure of the business rather than management. So taking opinions from that can add value to business, right? So taking opinion from that can obviously add value to business. Now, this is really a good one, right? Let's see the chat box if you have given some other points as well. Yeah. One of the good point that we have made, that we got listing as well in the Magda Fest, right? So the listing is not an easy. So that means there are certain tasks that Magda implemented, and that then it helps in listing as well, right? And getting listed is not that much easy. And Magda's first task was that. Now our priority task was that, right? Now, similarly, setting staff. I'll be commenting on the listing as well. Huh? Staff committees within Corjetz has been an important implementation by Magda. Previously, there has been high turnover, but this precaution can help Corjetz. Now see the linking, helping Corjetz, adding value. This means the commercial acumen, right? Can help Corjetz to reduce staff turnover, right? To reduce staff turnover and help Magda, right? Reduce staff turnover and help, Corjetz to retain key staff which they have trained over time, right? So this is one of the issue Corjetz was having. They have got this as well, right? Getting uniforms redesigned from staff is a good way of communication and creating competition among staff, right? This would create, or this would create a good gesture among staff that they, or that their suggestions are being valued, right? Are being valued. Similarly, at any other points, yeah, and the listing stage, right? So Magda's, now how she has told about the listing stage, if we can read it again. So yeah, Magda's successful market listing and customer satisfaction ratings at the highest level. Yeah, that means we can comment on that as well. Magda just not focused on staff only, but it also implemented strategies that focuses on customers as well. And this is the reason that Magda got all-time high customer satisfaction ratings, right? And getting listed status was also being achieved in Magda's leadership, which itself comments on leadership style. So I guess for 12 marks,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9. And one summary para, if we can make, so it will be great, right? Summary, if you can make it, if you see a conclusion, if you say anything, guys, totally anything you want to write, it's totally up to you. So a transformational leadership style, right, has played a key role in changing the behaviors and motivation of key staff, of Corjetz staff, right? This leadership approach taken by our CEO has created a greater level of participation, right? And delegation, which has increased staff morale, motivation, and retention. Right, guys? So this is my suggested answer for that. Now, let's see some questions if you have. Yeah, team spirit. Rupa, you are saying that staff have access to speak the board, but they haven't tried that, right? If they have written it, so we can make a point of it as well, that staff can access to the board regularly. So this itself is a motivation. In fact, I remember in my corporate career, if they have, so you can obviously make a point of that. In my career, I remember when I was visiting CFO frequently. So that itself was an esteem for me, that I was a trainee at my time and I'm visiting CFO frequently, reviewing the analysis, the feasibilities that I've made for the project. So it was an esteem as well. So you can comment on that. If they have written the speaks, staff accessibility, then you can add that point as well, right? Accessibility to seniors. Obviously, it's a motivation and you can write on that point as well. So guys, this was my answer on part one. I'm not saying that you'll get full 16 marks, but at least 12, 13, 14, it's fine for that. Huh? It's really fine for that. The professional marks, yeah, one of the problem that the students have is about professional marks is this, that they think that, sir, we haven't applied commercial acumen in every argument. You don't have to apply in every argument, guys. Obviously, you cannot do that. But in one or two paragraphs, right? In one or two paragraphs, you can see that you can comment on commercial acumen, just like I've been saying of the value addition. I've been saying on customer satisfaction. I've been saying that, right? So that means you can comment on those parts, and this is gonna be helping you. This is gonna be helping you in adding the commercial acumen. So in skepticism as well, you do not have to apply skepticism again and again, but in 1, 2, 3 paragraphs, you have to write those arguments which are suggested your particular structure, your particular things, right? So yeah, now one of the student has said, sir, if you can print that answer, yeah, obviously I'll print it and I'll be sharing with you. Don't worry at all. Apart from that, I'm sharing the examiner answer of it as well, right? I've downloaded it. So I'll be sharing the examiner answer so you can see what further points we can make. Guys, just remember one thing, that you have to read examiner answers. You have to draft papers in time. Now, I'll be conducting regular classes of this paper so that before pre-scene, we can close this paper. And once the pre-scene is released, our entire focus will be on that. So till the next class, I'll be announcing the next class in the group. Till the next class, make sure you have attempted the other requirements as well, like task 2. It's SFA approach, suitability, feasibility, acceptability. I've attempted these type of requirements in 5 or 6 times in the LMS. You can see you have got many questions of that. So try to attempt that.
Otherwise, I'll be solving with you. The next class will be probably or tomorrow or day after tomorrow. I'll let you know, in which we attempting 1B and the other requirements as well. Right, till then, this answer and the examiner answer will be shared with you. Thank you.